There is no such a thing as negative emotion. All emotions are valid. Yet the fear developed as a response to COVID-19 is reaching unprecedented levels, and it's putting all of us at higher risk than the virus itself. We need to collaborate to make sure that now and when this passes, as for sure it will, we stay mentally and emotionally healthy. I am Deena Affia, transition coach and trainer, and this is all about resilience and coping skills. Today, I am thrilled to have Dr. Richard Bolstad with me to show us possible ways to contain this fear within ourselves. Dr. Richard is an expert on the application of NLP on major disaster events and has run training for trauma response in Samoa, New Zealand, Japan, and Russia. His doctoral project was based on the work he did in training psychiatrists and social workers in Bosnia and Herzegovina to deal with the psychological trauma of the Balkan Wars. One of his innovations for challenging times is the Resolve model of therapy. Dr. Richard won the NLP International Award twice, and he is the author of many NLP books published in 12 languages, including The Clinical Effectiveness of Neuro-Linguistic Programming. Hello, Dr. Richard, a long time.
Yes, lovely to see you again, Deena.
Yes, thank you so much for accepting my invitation. Dr. Richard, things are changing rapidly, and we are all affected by the non-stop torrent of news. So how can we manage our emotional and mental health under the current situation?
Okay, well, that's very important. And as you say, the situation is changing so that we have less contact with some people outside of our home. Mm-hmm. And of course, we have more contact with some people in our family. And sometimes that's also part of how it becomes emotionally challenging. Mm-hmm. And so the first thing to understand about emotional challenges is that it's not all inside me. And one of the things we know about resilience is that if you have connections with other people that are positive, then that's very important. So even what you and I are doing right now is an example of what I'm going to recommend first of all is that make sure you have positive connections. And that means that if you're living with someone, that you take time to talk to them positively each day about things that are positive, about things that are not just about fears, although it's important to listen to that, but also about the things that are positive between you. And so we know that that has a profound effect on people's bodies, that it changes and actually boosts their immune system. Mm-hmm. So that's the very first thing. Mm-hmm. Then, of course, we are going to hear good news and bad news. And you can choose how much and how often you listen to news, how often you look at your screens and check for news, and that's important to choose. Mm-hmm. And also how you respond to news, because there are some things we cannot control. Mm-hmm. And there are some things that are able to be controlled. And resilient people focus on what they can control. The things that they can control, they set specific, simple little goals for. Like, what am I going to do today? What can I achieve? Yes. And how can I set up a regime for washing my hands, for cleaning surfaces, protecting myself and protecting others, that kind of thing. Yes. So that goal setting is the next most important thing, I think, after this process of making positive connections with other people.
So the first thing we need actually is the connection, because people are a bit concentrating on the term of social distancing. So we still need this connection, this interaction, this speaking together to feel connected and supported as well. So I really like this point and I really appreciate it. And the second thing you said, we take with the measures that already we are told that's in our control, to wash our hands, to be careful 1 meter in the real life, but we stay connected in the thoughts and the feelings and everything else.
Yes.
Okay. So how it's affecting you, the situation?
Well, I'm in New Zealand, and like most countries right now, New Zealand is locked down. That no one comes into the country or out, and we are not right now quarantined. We're not right now asked to ordered to stay at home, but we're asked to stay at home. And so I'm running training and doing coaching online and like this, and instead of face to face with people. And so that's a big challenge. And secondly, a thing to understand about it, of course, is that it pushes me to do things that are maybe a little beyond my comfort zone, but really, really valuable. Yes. And that's another thing I would recommend to people, is to find what could be valuable in this time. To think of this time as being a time almost like what religious people, it's a strange word in English, but would call a retreat. Time to step back and look after yourself and redecide what's the most precious things to you, what's really important in life, and spend some time looking after yourself. So that's the third thing I would say, is to look for ways to, in NLP we say reframe, put a different frame around what's happening so that you can find positives in it.
Yeah. So we can ask. We can ask ourselves the questions of what I can do with this time, how can I make the best out of it, instead of the why it's happening or what if it gets to me. Yes. Exactly.
So exactly as you're saying there, of course, when people are not resilient, what they often do is they ask two very unhelpful questions in this kind of situation. One is, why did this happen? Why me? Why now? And that's thinking about the past, which we can't really change. And then the other question is, what if really bad things happen in the future? And that, again, we don't have control over exactly what's going to happen in the future. What we have control of is right here now, what we can do today, and making life a little simpler in that way is a really important thing. Another thing, of course, though, is not just thinking about this now, but remembering there is going to be a time, as you said, after this. We're going to come out of this. Humanity is going to come out of this. And we know that from history. We've seen this happen many times before in history, and we know we come out. And so that means remembering that we're part of a big story. And whatever way people understand that, if they have a sense of spirituality or they have a sense of the history of human beings, to appreciate that history and to remember it every day. Of course, that's important. So, people have spiritual practices, they have prayer, they have meditation that they do. And of course, this is an important thing to utilize at this time, to remind yourself there is a big story behind this.
I love that. It's a reframing at its best. So till now, you say, we need to connect in any form, even the way we're connecting now. We're speaking, we're exchanging, and we need to take by the measures that we all know about the physical life, to wash our hands and to keep healthy and stay safe, as well as now you're saying stop asking the unhelpful questions of the what if, because the what if is about the future and the why is about the past. So you ask us to live in the now and ask, how can I make the best of the time I have now today? As well as that we are big of a part of a big story. Yes,
I know that seems paradoxical, but that's really important to have both those things. And the other thing that I would say too is what NLP calls anchoring, which is to connect yourself to positive experiences. So to remember what things are most precious to you and what experiences have been most precious, and to connect yourself to those in a positive way. So put little images around you that remind you of that. Listen to music that reminds you of what's precious to you. So create experiences that bring you back into a positive state of mind, because your body benefits from that kind of state. It's not just kind of cheering yourself up psychologically. It's that all these things that we're talking about have an effect on the cells in your body. You have the ability to communicate with all the cells in your body, and you are the most powerful medicine in that way that your body could have.
Yes. I love this. It's so spiritual, and you're the best person to do spirituality. You are graduated, you also certified from the Tao school, right?
Yes,
So
that's true.
not
I
only
studied
NLP.
traditional Chinese exercise and meditation,
Yes.
and wherever I'm teaching, I think it's important uh, to to understand what are people's beliefs there and what is their model of the world there, we would say in NLP, and to not try and alter that, but actually to build on that. So, you know, the people who are watching and listening to this, you have your own beliefs and your own spirituality, and to find in that the inspiration and the strength to support you at this time is really important.
I have when you said beliefs, something came to mind. Belief is a thought, a mere thought that had no meaning, but it kept repeating so many times till it became a belief. So it's
Yes.
you keep hearing it, confirming it, more evidence to it till it becomes a belief. So I think because of all the media and the news and the stories, this is people are developing new beliefs that are unhealthy without even realizing it. So
Yes.
I'll tell you about an example of a friend. Her son was coming from abroad, and he tested positive for the COVID-19. So the boy felt the moral responsibility. He called all his friends that were with him, and he told him, I tested positive. His friends were very supportive, and he went to the quarantine in the hospital. But the parents called the boy and told him, we feel the crate was at our home. So it's like the boy felt
Rejecting him, yeah, it's really,
rejecting
really
him.
sad.
Yeah. And I know others who have flu symptoms, getting with fever, who are afraid to take the test because they are afraid their friends avoid them. So
Yeah.
how can during all this repetitive message of COVID-19, and you have to stay away from the person, and you have to avoid the person and those beliefs, how can we handle this as a society? Because we need to support people who test positive the most.
Yes, that's exactly right. And if we don't support them, we don't support ourselves. And so it's a strange thing. Our bodies think if something is dangerous, we should push it away. And in this case, if something is dangerous, we need to know where it is, and we need to be able to deal with it. And that requires the ability to encourage people to be honest about what's happening with them. And, you know, we see it in the West as well, where there are people trying to think, is there some particular group we can blame? You know, is
Yes,
this
exactly.
brought into our country from this country or that country? And I don't think this kind of thinking is helpful. I don't think it's actually useful, but it feels real to us because our brain was designed to protect us. So firstly, to reassure people, okay, of course, you get frightened. If you get frightened, then your brain starts to think in this very ancient way. How can I push things away? And then to remember, our safety is that we have this world community. And to have this world community, we have to look after each other. And that means doing exactly what you said that boy did, you know, telling people and making sure that people who've been in contact with him will know and be safe. And that is love, you know, what he did when he did
Yes.
that. And it's really important for people to understand this is love. And this is how we will come through this, is by being gentle with ourselves, being gentle with each other.
Yes. So I actually see a lot of positivity out of it. We're all taking a rest from the day-to-day life. We're playing notes of music of our heart. So some things we needed to do. So you want to tell us any process or any steps you think that we can use it simply, like a thought in the morning, something we do that can help us to pass this as a last message?
Well, if people search online, they'll see I have a page online of various resources, and some
Yes.
of those are relaxation processes and so on. And that's at, if I can say, that's at transformations.net.nz,
Yes.
New Zealand. And so people are welcome to go there and download those free resources. And I do really recommend that in some way people take time in the morning before they start each day to remind themselves not what's going on badly out there in the world, but what is precious to me. So that they start off the day by really thinking about that. And in NLP, we have many processes for this, and one that I have online as well is called neurological levels, aligning neurological levels. And it's just checking that what you're doing and thinking each day is aligned with the things that are most precious to you in all the world, because that's what gives your body energy. That's what gives you energy, is aligning yourself with things that are really precious to you.
I really love that. I saw what you shared, and you opened your resources to be complementary for everyone. And I love the quotes you used. And I really recommend that you follow the link Dr. Richard said, because no one is better in spirituality and meditation like Dr. Richard, with his choice of words out of the NLP experience he has. And I love the quotes you put when you shared the waves and everything. I really felt like, yes, this is love, and this is what we want, to support each other, to collaborate. And if I want to summarize all what you said, is to connect, to take what in our control and do it like measures, and to you said connection, measures,
goal setting, and
yes,
reframing, and connecting yourself to positives.
Yes, and living in the now instead of asking the what
Yes.
if or the why. Just ask how and what I can do with this time.
Exactly.
And following your link, may you say it please again?
Yes, it's www.transformations with an S .net.nz. Yes.
Thank you so much, Dr. Richard. And till we meet again.
Thank you, Deena. Go well.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.